Hi, this is Chad Monty. I'm with Natural Equine Hoof Care. That's naturalequinehoofcare.com. And today in episode 1, we're going to talk about the new glue-on shoes. This is going to be a real exciting year for glue-on shoes. Easy Boots come out with a whole new line of shoes that are going to open up a lot of market that hasn't been there before. What I'm going to run through are the Easy Boot, glue-on boot, or glue-on gloves. They're a new line that just came out this year. A shoe from England or Florida, and a couple rehab shoes that I use. With your glue-on shoes, the most important thing is prepping your foot. If you're gonna put a glue-on boot on a horse, it's essential that you get this foot nice and clean. Make sure there's no oils on it. Same with the boot. You want to make sure that boot is nice and clean, no oils are on it, and another thing is the type of glue that you use. I usually use 3 types of glue: Adhere, Sole Guard, and Equilux. The Adhere is a great product. Dries in about a minute, but sometimes it can dry a little too hard. So I don't use the Adhere like on the bottom of a foot. I like to use the Sole Guard on the bottom of the foot because it's designed to be on the sole. And so I might use the Sole Guard on the bottom part of the boot, and I'll use the Adhere on the side. The Equilux is a great glue as well, but with this you really have to be careful with the temperature. I like to try to keep this glue about 70 degrees, but if it gets a little too warm, the glue can cure too quickly, and if it's too cold, it can take way too long to cure, and if you have a fidgety horse, you can never really get that good bond. So having the glue at the right temperature is critical. But let's go ahead and go through the actual glue-on boots. And last year, the 2 main boots that were out there was the Renegade glue-on and the Easy Boot glove glue-on. These boots performed really well. This boot won the Tevis Cup 3 years in a row. A lot of people rode in the Tevis Cup and other endurance races in this. They stay on really well, but just have to do the prep. With the Renegade, you can make little notches on the side, and that's what allows you to kind of fit these things a little bit more snug to the foot. But with the glove, they have wide sizes and they have the regular sizes, and so it's really important that you fit your horse's foot properly, because if you try to put a wide boot on a foot that's narrow, that little bit of play can sometimes really cause you to have a failure. And same with this. If the foot's really wide and the boot isn't fitting very well, that can cause some problems. The other thing to keep in mind is that the glue itself, it actually can kind of start to break down after about 3 weeks or so. So if you're going to glue your shoes on or glue your boots on and you have a big ride coming up, it's best to do it in the first or second week before your event. You wouldn't want to put a glue-on shoe or boot on and keep them on for about 4 or 5 weeks and then go on a big event, because by then the glue is starting to break down and you're increasing your chances of having a failure. So let me just go ahead and run through the new shoes. Right now, the Easy Boots come out with 4 glue-on shoes, and I was so excited to talk about these. I'm kind of jumping the gun here because they still haven't put out the 4th shoe, but it should be out next month. But let me go ahead and go through the 3 that I do have. What we've got here is we've got the glue-on Performance, the glue-on Sport, and the glue-on Performance NG. The glue-on Performance, it's real nice. It has frog support. It flexes with the foot. This lateral flexion is so important for horses developing their lateral cartilage, and the boot also allows the foot to expand and contract like a hoof would do if the horse were barefoot, and that is so important for hoof health. When the horse steps down, it's natural for the hoof capsule to expand, and when the hoof capsule expands, it creates a vacuum that pulls blood down the leg, and when they push off, the foot contracts, pushing the blood back up. You can lose a lot of that movement with the regular shoe. So these new shoes, they offer the horse protection, but they keep the natural mechanics in place, which is really important. They also, for fitting, they come with little wedges that can go in the back of the shoe. If you're a little nervous about the stability of the heels, once you have the shoes on, you can put a little glue in the center. If you're concerned about any debris getting in here, you could use some impression material on the bottom. Now for for the Performance, and this is called the Performance NG. It's basically the same shoe as the other Performance, but it has a metal plate inside, which allows you to either nail or glue this shoe on. It also comes with some clips. And this pad that you're seeing here really isn't designed to pad the sole. It's designed to prevent glue from migrating into the sole. And so this is really going to be an exciting shoe this year as well. And then this is the Sport. The Sport, very similar to the Performance, it just doesn't have the frog support. These come in half sizes, whereas the Performances come in single sizes, 0s, 1, 2, 3s. And for putting these things on, it's pretty simple. It's mainly just putting a little bead of glue, about 2 millimeters around the side of the shoe. And then once you have the glue on the side of the shoe, you'll get your horse to stand on the shoe. After the horse is standing on the shoe, you just kind of pull back the tab, put a little glue on there. The holes on the side are designed for the excess glue to flow out. Go over to the other side of the shoe and just give it a minute to cure. After that, then you can rasp it off, make it look nice and pretty. The thing that you're trying to prevent, though, is that you don't want any glue migrating into the bottom of the sole. It may cause sole pressure. Real important not to have that sole pressure on the bottom of the foot. Now I want to go into the other shoe that I use a lot, and this is a shoe I get from England, and this is called the Imprint. The Imprint this was designed by a farrier and a chemist in England they put their heads together to try to come up with a shoe to work with some foundered ponies. And what's interesting about this shoe is that this material is a high-tech polymer that when it's put in boiling water, this is a little tray I use, and I'll put this in boiling water, and when I pull it out of the water, this is clear and sticky, kind of like a mouth guard. And you put it on the shoe, and you mold this around the shoe, and then you hit it with a freeze spray that's about 60 below zero, and that instantly hardens the shoe. Goes on really quick, but with this and any other glue-on application, you just have to make sure you really have that hoof capsule prepared and ready to go for the application. This particular shoe is actually a Performance shoe. You can see where it's pre-tapped for studs. And this material, even though it looks kind of shiny and slick, once the horses go up there and run around on it for a while, it gets abrasive, but it doesn't wear. It holds up better than aluminum and steel. I've put these on huge warm bloods, and when I take them off, I'm always amazed at how well these shoes have held up. And I've also liked the fact that when I've taken these off of horses, the foot actually looks better. The frog support, not loading the horse on the hoof falls because we don't have to nail a shoe on, just helps to really keep that foot nice and healthy. We're still able to get some of the lateral flexion as well. So just a great option. And the Imprint company also makes a shoe called for founder ponies or horses, and this one is designed just to come out of the water and get on a horse real quick. You put that on the foot, have them step down, and now those founded horses that are really uncomfortable, you can get something on them quick, and you're not pounding a nail on like a normal hard bar shoe, which can be very irritating to the lamina. This has really helped recover some of the founder cases I've worked on. If a horse has severe rotation or distal descent and the coffin bone is really close to the sole or broken through, or you're really concerned about medicating this area and it not be getting any pressure, the material for the shoe comes in little BBs that you can actually put in here, and it makes kind of like a little blob, and you can make a hospital plate. And all of this is on their website on how to make that hospital plate. But just a great thing to have as a little bag of your tools or your tricks. And then the other founder shoe I use a lot is this is called the Outlaw shoe. And the Outlaw shoe, what's nice about it is it goes on really quick as well. And for those founder cases, it's essential to load them on their frog, and that helps stabilize the foot, prevent rotation, distal descent. This shoe loads them on the frog. It gives you some pressure off of the sole, has therapeutic magnets to stimulate circulation. And after I get this on the horse's foot, I'll just go ahead and put this in a boot to offer them some sole protection. And this has rehabbed a lot of horses for me this year that any other application, I just wasn't able to give them that type of protection. Now the other shoe I've used is a shoe called the This comes from Curtis down in Florida, called the No Anvil, and this will be the shoe that the new shoe that'll be coming out. Will be called the Compete, and it's a combination of this shoe and this shoe. What they've done is they've taken this material and they've added these wings to the side, and it should be out next month. But this is really a nice shoe too. It's very flexible. The wire in the center of the shoe that allows you to form it for the horse that you're working with. Depending on the terrain, some horses, dressage horses, I've been able to put this on them and take the shoe off, grind the glue off, trim the foot, put it back on, get 3 applications. So it was just another nice tool to have. And then the other shoe I'll show you is the Sound Horse shoe. And the Sound Horse shoe is the company. What they've done is they've taken this Kelvar fabric and attached this gel to it, which allows you to attach this shoe without any nails. You just put the shoe on the foot and wrap it with saran wrap after you put a lot of glue on here, and that's how you apply that. But the difference between this shoe and like a regular aluminum shoe is this gel. This gel helps prevent vibration and concussion damage. For some of those horses, navicular horses that have heel pain, this can really give them a lot of relief. Long-toed, underrun heels. There have been times when this would be the first thing I would use just to get the back of the foot comfortable until I can transition them into this. All of these shoes right here, I've only had these for about a week, and so that's why I can't talk about them in as much detail, because I've only put them on a few horses because I just got them, and in future episodes we'll go back to those and see how they're holding up. But this is just another trick to have to kind of get you through some of those navicular problems, some of those heel pain problems. And then the last shoe I'll talk about is this comes from Dr. Rick Radden. This is the Ultimate shoe. This particular shoe has a 20-degree wedge, but it also has screws in the bottom, so if you want to take off this plate, it'll drop you down 10 degrees. This shoe is used for your founder cases where you have that rotation, and there may be a lot of tension on the deep digital flexor tendon. Wedging this up can take some of that pressure off. But it's really important to know when to use this shoe. If you have a horse that's in a lot of pain from its founder rotation, you don't want to put this shoe on until the horse is comfortable and is landing heel first. Once you have that, then you can put this on, and by taking off that pressure of the deep flexor tendon, you can increase the circulation into the sole. And I've seen as much as 10, 15 millimeters of sole grow in 3 to 4 weeks. So just another tool to have to help your horses get through some of those issues. We're going to start a series in natural hoof care and cover different things that will help you transition your horse from shoes into boots, or if your horses are already barefoot and they need a little bit of extra protection, we've got some good riding boots and the new glue-on shoes. And so today what I'd like to talk about in episode 1 is our riding boots, and then after our riding boots I'll go into the glue-on shoes. And I'm going to cover mainly just the Easy Boot line. I do have a Renegade boot. I am an Easy Boot dealer, and I have more experience with the Easy Boots. I have worked a little bit with the Renegades, but I'm just not as experienced with those. So for now, let's go ahead and get started with the Easy Boots that I use. And there's 2 different types of Easy Boots. Some are made for like therapeutic applications, soaking feet, maybe dealing with an abscess or an injury. And others are for riding in the mountains and endurance riding, and then some are just for like light trail work. So depending on the kind of riding that you're doing, it helps to know what type of boot is going to fit your needs. Some boots are more difficult to put on, some are easier to put on, and there's advantages and disadvantages to both. Sometimes if the boot's a lot easier to put on, it may be a little bit easier to come off. So the fit is really important, and a lot of people who've had problems with the boots, it's usually related to a poor fit. And that's why it's really a good idea to have somebody come out and fit your horse, get the right size boot. Sometimes if you spy them online and you have just a little bit of a wrong size, you can have problems with them coming off, and then it just turns into a bad experience for everyone. And also, Easy Care can, if you're not really sure, they can send you a boot that's a half a size a little smaller, half a size bigger, and then you can try the 3 boots, and the one that fits is the one you keep, and then you just send the other 2 back. So let's go ahead and go into the boots. And right now what I'd like to talk about is the old Mac boot. The old Mac is it's been around for a long time. It originally came from Australia, then Easy Boot purchased the boot, and they've made some changes to it. And now they have a version called the G2. The G2 boot is just a great boot. A lot of people who ride in the mountains and they ride in heavy bog, they haven't had any problems with these things coming off in the mud. And if there is any twisting, they have little wedges you can put on the side. The boots have a nice strap in the back that keeps the boot closed. The Velcro opens up nice and big to slide the foot in. There's a pastern strap here, helps stabilize the boot, and then a gaiter. And the gaiter helps to prevent any rubbing. And it may look like a lot of work at first, but there's kind of a learning curve. And once you get the boot on and prepped and you put it on a couple times, the boot kind of creates a memory, and it goes on pretty quick. But the way that you put these boots on, you slip it on the foot, you wrap the gaiter around the horse's pastern. This pastern strap goes over and up. And then you just close the boot, and then just buckle it closed. And the main thing you're looking for when you put these boots on is you don't want any twisting. If you have a boot and you put on a horse and it's twisting, then you're going to have some failures, especially if you get into water, those long rides. Now the other boot I'm going to talk about is the Epic. And the Epic is kind of the old Easy Boot has kind of morphed into a high-performance riding boot. A lot of people have had experience with the old Easy Boot. It's been around for a lot of years. But they've made a lot of improvements to it. Some of the improvements is, they used to have these cables coming through the center here, and the way it was designed before, sometimes that would cause fraying. Then they've modified that design to be these little rounded pegs, and that helps to keep the cables from fraying. Also, they used to have the teeth on the side, and they've got rid of the teeth, and now it's just kind of a solid surface. The tread has improved. The old tread wasn't nearly as aggressive as the new tread. You get much better traction with this. And then the other thing is they've taken the regular old Easy Boot, made these improvements, and then they've attached this gaiter to it, this ankle wrap. And the ankle wrap is what's allowed this boot to really perform well in the mountains and all kinds of riding. It stays on really good, but there again, it comes down to the fit. When fitting the Easy Boots, what's nice is the Easy Boot Epic, you do have some tools here you can use for making them a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Most people put the cables in the center for a normal foot, but if it's a little bit too snug, you can open that up, or you can cross them over. So there's a few things you can do to really snug that boot down. And I like to use these 2 boots for horses that maybe are just kind of starting to go barefoot. Sometimes when you first take off shoes, there may be some flare. You're going to grow that flare out, and the shape of the horse's foot can change. And some of the other boots, they come in half sizes and wide sizes, and if that fit isn't just perfect, you're going to have some problems. So these 2 boots will allow you to have a little bit of room in between those trims when the feet are a little bit longer, and they may not fit into the other boots that have to have that real tight fit. The boot that a lot of people are really liking the last year and this year is the glove. And the glove is just a great boot, super easy to put on. It's got a nice shell, same tread. The gaiter folds back, and you slip this on the horse, wrap this around the pastern, and off you go. But there again, these boots do come in half sizes and wide sizes, and it makes a big difference. You can see how the wide and the more oval shape can really affect the fit. This wide boot has really helped with some of those warm bloods that have the wider foot, or some horses where their front foots are a little bit wider and the back foot's a little bit narrow, and that's just made the difference, a huge difference. But the other thing with these boots, if you are having a big ride coming up and you're really maybe concerned that you don't want these boots coming off, there's a couple tricks. And one of the tricks is to grab some tape. They have a nice fabric tape that you can take and you wrap this around the hoof capsule. And what the tape does is it gives it a little bit more abrasive of texture to the hoof capsule, so that when the boot is on the foot, it isn't going to it'll be less likely to twist. And also, if when you put a boot on, you kind of want this tab to be stretched out a little bit. And we also sell these power straps. So you can put this down and put the power strap on to hold that together. So between the power strap and the tape, those can really help you keep these boots on. There's a guy in Australia who's been riding across country, and he's in Easy Boots, and he's documenting that in a blog on Easy Care's website. And he was having some problems with the boots coming off, and he contacted Easy Care and asked them, well, I'm having problems with this. What can I do to keep these boots on better? And they suggested the tape and the power strap, and he put those on. And a few days later, his blog, his pack horse fell in some quicksand. And in the blog, he has these photos where he roped his pack horse and pulled him out of the quicksand, and all 4 boots were still on. So that's pretty good to have a horse chest deep in quicksand, pull him out, and the boots were still on there. Now the glove, it also has a glue-on application. This boot is just for keep your horse barefoot. You put it on, go for your ride, you take it off, and they can last for a long time depending on the terrain and how often you ride. But you can also take this shell and then just glue this on. And that's been real popular in some of the endurance circuits and some of the backcountry people. When you're riding really hard and you just don't want to worry about putting the boots on, but you don't want to have steel on the bottom of the foot, the glue-on boot is great. And I'll get more into the glue-on shoes and boots after I go through all these. But I do want to mention that this boot, it's won the Tevis Cup 100-mile endurance race in the Sierra Nevadas the last 3 years in a row. And last year, the top 10 finishers, 7 of them were in this application. So it's a performance boot. It's not meant as just a light trail boot. This thing can really, they're doing 100 miles in the Sierras. This boot really holds up. Now the next boot I want to show you is a Transition. This is a new boot that just came out this year, and it's designed to take the horse. May not be comfortable barefoot. You're kind of getting into that, and this boot's designed to go on easy. Start getting your horse out there, walk, trot, and canter, light riding. Not necessarily a mountain boot, but just for light riding and get the foot stimulated, get some blood flow, start developing the internal structures of the foot so that you can either be barefoot or just have a healthier foot. And then we also have the RX. The RX is a therapy boot. It's been out for a little while. I haven't really used this one so much. For me, it can be a little difficult to get into a horse's foot when I do need a boot for a horse that has an abscess, or it may have I'm doing a lot of padding because of a founder or something. But for me, it's just been a little difficult to slide in there with all the vet wrap and stuff. It rubs against the neoprene, and then I've also had some problems with this thing rubbing on the back of the heel bulbs, and then also when the boot has gotten really wet, I've had problems with it kind of twisting. So what I personally have done is I've gone to the Easy Boot Trail, and the Easy Boot Trail is just a great therapy boot. And the reason why is because it opens up really nice and big. See, if you do have that foot all wrapped up with vet wrap and cotton or whatever you're doing, it slides in there right, nice and easy. Just fold over one strap, fold over this strap, and that's it. And it's just a real nice boot for some people who, it's difficult to hold that foot up and deal with cables and buckles and straps and all that kind of stuff. And then when you're done with your rehabbing your horse, you have a nice light trail boot you can use for maybe just, some riding around the neighborhood or a kind of a flat trail. I've taken this in the mountains, and I haven't had much luck in the mountains here in Utah, but I like to test these boots, and by going through an area up here in the Wasatch Mountains where we have some pretty big streams, and right when you get out of the water, there's a real steep up climb. And when the boots get really wet and you're powering up the side of the hill, and if they stay on, that's great. But the problem I had with these was they were kind of twisting, and they kind of rubbed on the back of my horse's heel bulb. And so they just didn't hold up as well as I thought they would on those types of rides. So they look great in the catalogs, but definitely not a boot you'd want to take in the back country for 5 or 6 days, but a great boot for just light riding, rehabbing your horse for whatever reason. The next boot is the backcountry trail. The backcountry trail hasn't been out that long, but a lot of people like it. It's not a boot that I used. I've had some problems with the Velcro. Right when I bought the boot, the Velcro wasn't staying shut. I was having problems with the boot twisting. I had the screws pop out. They're expensive, and I didn't have any customers that liked this boot. A lot of people do like it. but maybe they're riding on different terrain, or maybe it's just the fit of their horse's foot. But I kind of go with my customers, and right now, the Old Mac G2, the Epic, and the Glove are the three main boots I like to use for the mountains and heavy riding. So this is a boot that I just don't recommend for my customers, but if it works for you, great. The other boot I'd like to talk about is the Easy Boot Soaker boot. And the soaker boot everyone should have a soaker boot. Thrush, abscesses, soaking those feet can be really difficult if you have a horse that isn't comfortable in water, being soaked in water. And here you can just put the boot on, pour your liquid in, and let the horse just kind of stand and soak. It's not designed for the horse to be walking around. You want to have your horse standing stationary, tied up or something. But it's just a great durable boot, and I always carry these with me. And if clients, they have an abscess, they maybe don't want to buy a pair of boots, I'll just rent them to them or loan them out, because it's just nice to get through those things as quickly as you can, those abscesses and thrush and things like that. And the other boot is the Renegade. And I'm not going to talk too much about the Renegade because I'm still working on testing these and trying to work on fitting. And a lot of people really like the Renegade. Some people don't. I don't. There's pros and cons to everything. And but what I'm trying to do is go through and test all these boots and come up with some of the advantages and disadvantages to both, or to each. And that way you're kind of more informed instead of just looking on a catalog or something like that. So this is my current boot line. If you have any questions, please just give me an email and we send me some photos of your horse's feet so I can look at the shape and help steer you in the right direction. And also you can go to Easy Boots website, and on Easy Boots website they have a list of trimmers from all over the world, so you can try to find someone local who can help you get into the right boot. Thank you.